Hi, I'm Dr. Jodie Ann Senior. I'm here today with you to discuss a bit of a tricky subject, constipation. Now, you might wonder what constipation and heart failure have to do with each other, but in fact, heart failure patients suffer constipation quite readily, and it's a difficult issue because of the fluid restriction. So some of the things that we would normally recommend are a bit more challenging for you if you're a heart failure patient. So I want to go back a few steps and just discuss what is constipation. It might seem obvious to most, but there are ways to define it. It's generally a situation where you have infrequent bowel movements. This might be less than 3 times a week. Some people have it so severely that they might not go for a week or two, and that is definitely cause for concern. But it might also extend to having difficulty passing stool, straining during bowel movements, and just feeling like you can't really evacuate everything that you need to. So what are the causes of constipation? In heart failure, this can be related to decreased physical activity, fatigue, weakness, muscular weakness. It can be due to side effects of medication, diuretics, calcium channel blockers. If you're on pain relievers, particularly narcotic-based pain relievers, these will also tend to block you up. Dietary restriction can sometimes be a factor. What you eat will be a factor, and limiting fluid intake will also be a factor. This is particularly of concern for those with heart failure because many of you are on fluid restrictions. So there are other things to consider. Change in routine, a change in your bowel habit, that in itself can set off a chain reaction where you don't tend to go or you have much more difficulty. So if you set yourself up for a regular time in the day to try and have your bowel action, that will generally help your body get to know when you are going to do that, and that in turn will help regularity. So what is the impact of constipation on heart failure? Well, those symptoms are generally pretty unpleasant. They can cause discomfort in the tummy, bloating, increased abdominal pressure, and more water retention as well. The water retention itself that occurs with heart failure, causing congestion in your gut and gut wall edema, or water retention in the gut lining, can also increase the likelihood of slower bowel movements and constipation itself. What do you do about it? Again, keeping regular habits helps, but there are lots of other options that you can consider. So diet modification is often the first one considered. In particular, increasing fibre intake, so having fibre-rich fruits and vegetables, salads, whole grains, legumes. They will help add bulk to stool, which will make it easier to pass. On that front, you can also take things like psyllium husk, which will also do that. A good one is also green banana fibre, which I found recently, and that's pretty good. Making sure you eat fermented foods helps your microbiome, which also helps your bowel habits. Fluid management, of course, but within the limit of any fluid restriction that you have. Lifestyle changes should be encouraged, particularly with regards to increasing physical activity where possible. This doesn't have to be anything major. Even just gentle, light physical activity and walking can be a good promoter for a regular bowel habit. Try very hard, going back to what we were saying, try and have regular meals, try and have regular time periods scheduled for your bowel movement so that your body can get used to certain things, and that will help that pattern be consolidated. Try, once that is established, to maintain it, and that keeps the body's natural reflexes and time clocks happening. If you require more assistance than that, you might need to look at medications. These might be, something like a stool softener, something like Coloxal and Senna. You might need an actual laxative, like an osmotic laxative, something like lactulose, or you may even, if things have become quite serious, need enemas or something that worked from the top and the bottom. And in particular, in these instances, getting advice from your local family doctor or your specialists is very important. In some of the most severe cases I've seen have actually led to patients developing what we call a pseudo bowel obstruction, which is a very serious situation. So we definitely don't want to take this too lightly. It's a very important thing to try and keep your bowel moving very regularly so that you don't wind up in serious trouble. There are a number of natural ways that you can also increase your bowel activity. Probiotics, yogurt, kefir, we mentioned fermented foods. So that could be sauerkraut, for example, or other things like kimchi. The fermented foods actually help with digestion and with the bowel motions. You can use things like flaxseed oil. You can use cod liver oil, other fish oils, primrose oil. I think in the old days, grandmothers used to use the cod liver oil. It sounds pretty disgusting, but some people like it. It's an option. I think one of the very common things that my patients use is prunes, but one of the overlooked ones is pear juice. Pear juice is particularly good at helping with constipation. Again, you don't need a lot of it. It is high in sugar, so you probably want to watch that if you're diabetic, but that's quite a good remedy. You can make your own drinks or smoothies even that can help, and I know I've used a very good one. If you have a NutriBullet or some sort of a blender, you can put half a cup of baby spinach as the base. I then add a pear with its skin but cored. Then I'll add half a lime, including the skin, and one or two dates, but taking out the seeds. I add the water then up to the level, blend it, and it's actually a really fairly delicious green-based smoothie that definitely helps with keeping you regular. That one I can definitely vouch for. What else might you use? Well, magnesium. Many of you have to go on magnesium for as a supplement. Some of your medications, and especially diuretics, will make you lose magnesium, but certain forms of magnesium can actually help you with your regularity. Coffee is also one that can potentially help with bowel actions. So if you're allowed to drink coffee, coffee is also a possible assister there in regular bowel actions, but you might need to check with your doctors if they're happy for that. There are other herbal remedies. We mentioned senna, aloe vera and aloe vera juice, very good for gut regularity and bowel actions. In Australia, we have some really great producers of aloe vera and you can either buy aloe vera juice to drink, or you can make your own if you've got an aloe vera plant. It's not very difficult. That's something I learned from an organic gardener. Quite a good way to keep you regular as well. Drinking warm water at night before going to bed, or having a warm liquid such as a herbal tea or lemon juice squeezed into warm water can also help with relaxation of the gut and then promoting bowel actions. So there's another one. As you can see, there are a few different ways that you can address it, but if you've tried a lot of that and you're still having problems, then I highly recommend you speak to your doctor to get a more powerful solution. Once you have it sorted out though, please use some of those ideas to make sure you keep regular, and then we won't be having to admit you to hospital with more serious conditions related to your lack of bowel action. If you think medications are contributing, please volunteer that information to your doctor, as those might need to be changed. If they can't be changed, then they need to be worked around and other things need to be modified. So again, please discuss with your doctor. Anyway, I hope that has been helpful. It's often something people don't want to discuss, but they need to. And believe me, if you need to ask those questions, we're here for that. So ask away. Don't let yourself get into trouble. All right. And I will see you next time. Bye.